All right, everybody. Ready to explore the world of academia?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Today, we're diving deep into what it takes to become a medicine lecturer.
Sounds good.
So it's not just about, knowing your stuff medically speaking.
Right.
We're talking about inspiring future doctors, shaping minds.
It's a bit more than that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, lay it on me.
You need a real passion for teaching to excel in this role. It's about conveying complex medical concepts in a way that resonates with students who are just beginning their medical journeys. You're not just a doctor anymore, you're an educator.
You're an educator. Okay, I like that. So before we even get to the interview, the RoleCatcher Career Guide lays out the job description, and it's a lot more than I initially thought.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking teaching, obviously, but also designing curriculums, running labs. Wow.
And the research. Let's not forget that. Universities place a high value on medicine lecturers who are actively contributing to their field. Publishing research is a big part of it.
You're like a medical detective, Andy a
Yeah.
storyteller, all rolled into one.
Exactly. It's a dynamic role that requires a unique blend of skills.
Okay, so with that in mind, let's jump into some of those make-or-break interview questions that RoleCatcher highlights, because I have a feeling they're going to be tough.
You're not wrong. Preparation is key in this competitive field.
Absolutely. Okay, so first up, a question that seems deceptively simple. What inspired you to become a medicine lecturer? I mean, seems pretty straightforward, right? What are they really getting at here?
It's a common question that often trips people up. Interviewers want to understand the why behind your aspirations. It's not enough to simply say, I like teaching or medicine is my passion. They're looking for a deeper connection between your personal journey and their institution.
So should I be thinking about tailoring my answer to the specific university and their values?
Absolutely. Do your research. Let's say the university is known for its pioneering cardiology research. If that's your area of expertise, weave that into your answer. Show them you belong in their lecture halls.
Okay, so it's all about making that connection, showing them I'm not just sending out applications blindly.
Exactly. Be genuine, be enthusiastic, and demonstrate that you understand their vision. Now, they might follow that up with a question like, how would you describe your teaching style?
Oh, I see. So they want to see if you've thought about how you'd actually approach the job.
Precisely. And it's a chance for you to showcase your teaching philosophy. Are you a dynamic lecturer? Do you prefer hands-on activities? Think about how you can best engage students in a medical school setting.
Right. So instead of just saying I'm engaging and enthusiastic, which I am, by the way,
Of course, of course.
I need to actually paint them a picture.
Yeah, exactly. Give concrete examples. Would you incorporate case studies based on real patient scenarios? How about simulations of medical procedures? These are much more impactful than simply stating, I make learning fun.
Oh, I like those. Those are really good. That's actually where I think RoleCatcher's AI feedback feature could be super helpful. I could practice answering those questions and get feedback to make my answers even stronger.
Definitely. The AI can help you fine-tune your language and ensure you're hitting those keywords that hiring committees are looking for.
Like having a mock interview with, like, a panel of experts, but instead it's AI.
Exactly. You'll be well prepared to deliver your answers with confidence.
Okay, I'm liking this. Let's keep going. Next question. RoleCatcher highlights is a bit daunting.
Yeah.
How do you stay up to date with developments in the field of medicine? I mean, medicine is constantly evolving, so how do you even begin to tackle that in an interview?
It's about showcasing a proactive and continuous learning mindset. So instead of a general statement about reading medical journals, be specific.
Okay, so name-dropping some leading journals in my specialty,
Yeah.
mentioning recent conferences I've attended, or research papers I found interesting.
Exactly. And don't forget about professional development courses, collaborations with other researchers, anything that demonstrates your commitment to staying ahead of the curve.
Because nobody wants a doctor whose medical knowledge stopped with, like, the invention of the stethoscope. That's a good one. I like that. All right, this next one from RoleCatcher is super relevant today, even for our podcast. How would you incorporate technology into your teaching?
That's a key question. Technology is transforming the educational landscape, and medical schools are no exception.
Absolutely. So it's not just about listing off every software or app I've ever used.
Right. It's about demonstrating that you're adaptable and open to integrating technology in ways that enhance the learning experience for students.
So I should focus on the how and the why.
Yeah.
Like if I were to use virtual reality simulations to help students visualize complex anatomical structures.
Now you're getting it. It's about demonstrating a deep understanding of how technology can create impactful learning experiences. That's what they're looking for. And it's not just about lectures and technology. They'll want to know about your approach to assessment. RoleCatcher flags this question. How do you assess student learning and progress? Question. It's about finding that balance between being thorough and, well, fair.
Because no one wants to be known as the professor with impossible exams.
Exactly. You're assessing true understanding, not just rote memorization.
So should I avoid just listing off different assessment types like, oh, I give exams, quizzes, presentations?
Talk about your approach. Instead of, I give multiple choice tests, say, I design assessments that challenge students to apply their knowledge to real-world medical scenarios.
Oh, I like that. Case-based questions that really make them think like doctors.
Precisely. You could even mention things like OSCEs.
OSCE.
Objective Structured Clinical Examinations. They're common in med schools. Show you're thinking about practical skills, not just book smarts.
Right, because those future doctors need to be able to perform, not just pass a test. Speaking of which, RoleCatcher also highlights this question. How do you incorporate diversity and inclusivity into your teaching methods?
A crucial question. It goes way beyond just treating everyone equally.
It does. So how do I convey that authentically? I mean, I do value creating a welcoming environment for everyone.
Think concrete actions. Do you incorporate diverse perspectives in your curriculum? Use case studies that reflect a range of backgrounds.
Those are good points. I could also talk about using inclusive language and being mindful of different learning styles.
Exactly. And don't shy away from mentioning open dialogues about tougher topics. Healthcare disparities, cultural sensitivities, things like that.
It's about recognizing that a diverse student body makes the learning experience better for everyone.
And it prepares those future doctors to treat a diverse patient population. Now let's shift gears a bit to a question that I know can be tough. How do you handle difficult or disruptive students in the classroom?
Ooh, yeah. Every teacher's least favorite scenario.
It's bound to come up. What matters is showing you can handle it while maintaining a positive learning environment.
So no, laying down the law, military style.
Focus on setting clear expectations from day one. And if a student acts up, address it calmly and professionally.
Not ignoring it, but not making a spectacle either. So like a private conversation, maybe?
Exactly. You could say, I address the behavior directly but privately, offering support while reminding them of the impact their actions have. You could even mention looping in student support services if needed.
Showing you're there to help, but also that there are boundaries.
Precisely. Compassionate but firm. Now, on the topic of dynamics, RoleCatcher asks, how do you collaborate with other faculty members to enhance the learning experience for students? Especially important in a field like medicine.
Huge. It's all about teamwork.
So more than just saying, I'm a team player, give specific examples. Have you worked on interdisciplinary projects?
Oh, absolutely. Like collaborating with an ethicist on a case study that had a really complex ethical dilemma.
Perfect. Or teaming up with, say, a biomedical engineering researcher to develop a simulation.
Yes. Those hands-on experiences are so valuable.
It shows you understand that collaboration leads to a richer learning experience for everyone. Now, switching gears to another crucial aspect. How do you encourage students to pursue research opportunities in medicine?
This is where my own passion for research comes in. I'd be excited to, light that spark in them.
Enthusiasm is great, but interviewers want to see action. How have you mentored students in the past?
Okay, so less about research is cool, more about concrete examples.
Right. Have you participated in mentoring programs, led workshops on research methods?
I could definitely talk about those. Or even just my open door policy for students with research ideas.
Excellent. Highlight those successes too. Any student projects you've supervised? Publications co-authored with students?
It's about showing them the ropes, from the initial question to presenting their findings.
Exactly. Speaking of juggling responsibilities, RoleCatcher asks, how do you balance research and teaching responsibilities? Because they both demand a lot of your time.
That's real. It's a constant balancing act to stay on top of everything.
So instead of just saying I'm good at multitasking, talk strategies.
It really is. You want to give your students your full attention, create those killer lectures.
Right.
But then you also need time for your own research, which is so important.
It's about finding a system that works for you and being honest about your limits. Instead of that generic, I'm a multitasker line, how about mentioning specific strategies?
Okay, so I use a planner religiously. Time blocking, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Or maybe you have dedicated research days to minimize distractions.
I like that. Having those boundaries is so key, or else work bleeds into everything.
And don't underestimate the power of delegation.
Oh, delegation. See, that's something I struggle with. When I'm passionate about something,
It's hard to let go.
it is. But in academia, with the research, the teaching, the admin stuff, you have to delegate, right?
You've got to, otherwise you risk burning out, which RoleCatcher actually mentioned in their career guide. It's a real concern for a lot of people in this field.
Definitely. So how can someone who's just starting out, how can they get ahead of that?
Being proactive. Self-care is huge E. You can even weave that into your answer. Say, to avoid burnout, I prioritize things like hobby so I can be my best in both roles.
Oh, that's good. Showing them you're not just a workaholic robot. You have a life outside of medicine, or academia, I should say.
Exactly. And most universities offer resources too, mentoring, stress management workshops, mentioning those shows you're thinking long term.
Sustainability, not just sprinting to the finish line and collapsing.
Exactly. And speaking of the long game, remember that career stages section in RoleCatcher?
Yeah, yeah.
Really interesting insights there about typical career paths for medicine lecturers, how you can advance, salary expectations, good stuff to be aware of.
It's like having a sneak peek at what your future could look like.
Right. And while we're talking about helpful resources, let's loop back to RoleCatcher as a whole. We've covered the interview guide, those killer questions,
Yeah.
but their AI features are seriously next level.
The AI, yes. So we touched on the feedback you can get on your answers, but I just want to emphasize how cool this is. It analyzes your pacing, your tone of voice.
Everything.
It's like having a personal coach, but it's AI.
Available 24/7. And don't forget about their CV tailoring feature. It's a game changer.
Right, making sure your CV is laser focused on what they are looking for. Keywords, experience.
It takes out all the guesswork. Helps you stand out in a sea of applicants.
So important. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
But if there's one takeaway I want listeners to remember, it's that becoming a medicine lecturer, it's not just a job, right? It's about passion. It's about inspiring those future doctors.
It really is. You're shaping minds.
And you're constantly learning yourself, new discoveries, new ways of teaching. It sounds incredibly challenging, but so rewarding.
Absolutely. And never underestimate the impact of your own enthusiasm. It's contagious.
I love that. So to all you aspiring medicine lecturers out there, go for it. And definitely check out RoleCatcher. They've got your back at every stage. Now, one final thought before we go. As you're preparing for this career, think about the impact you want to make. How will you be remembered, not just for your knowledge, but as a mentor, as someone who truly shaped the future of medicine?
That's a great question to ponder.